I'm excited. I dream about stuff like this, man. You know, it kind of give me chills now coming out and everybody booing. That get me more pumped up than anything. People booing, throwing stuff, you know, angry. That really takes the nervousness out of me.
Caliber of fighter that Errol is, you know, just like I know the caliber fighter of Tim. You know, I think both of them have taken a lot of damage in their career so far, but I just think, Errol skill-wise, just edge. I just wish him well. You know, I wish him well, much respect with him in his career, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what he do in his future.
I think Errol gonna do an amazing job. I'm looking forward to him getting back in the ring. I think, you know, he's gonna be successful in his comeback, and I picked him.
For Errol Spence, this training camp is all about proving he is still an elite fighter. Ever since the Terence Crawford defeat, people have questioned his timing, his body, his motivation, and whether he can still compete with boxing's biggest names. But now we are seeing him back in the gym, sharpening his pressure, rebuilding his rhythm, and preparing like a former champion determined to remind everyone exactly who he is. For Tim Tszyu, this camp is about making the most of a huge opportunity. He is younger, active, motivated, and training with the mindset that beating Spence would elevate his career to another level. With Jeff Fennick and his team guiding him, the focus is not only on power. It is also about discipline, defense, and being fully prepared for the toughest version of Errol Spence. That is what makes this matchup so compelling. One fighter is trying to prove his career is far from over. The other is determined to show that a new generation has officially arrived.
Good. You good?
All good. What's up, little man?
Then we see Errol Spence preparing for his comeback against Tim Tszyu. And this part is especially important because it shows how seriously he is approaching this fight. Spence is not simply posting random training footage. He is working like a fighter who understands that everyone is questioning him. Right now, the emphasis is on sharpness, movement, conditioning, and finding his rhythm again before fight night. After spending time away from the ring, this camp is focused on rebuilding his timing and making sure his body performs the way it once did. With Tim Tszyu waiting across the ring, Spence cannot afford to look slow or rusty. Tszyu is active, powerful, and eager to test him. That is why every training session matters. Every round on the pads, every drill, and every day in camp is about proving Errol Spence still belongs among boxing's elite. He is smashing the pads during another intense workout, and this is exactly the type of footage fans have been waiting to watch. Errol Spence looks focused, sharp, and completely locked in on making a successful return. His punches have plenty of snap, the combinations are flowing smoothly, and the body shots remain one of the strongest weapons in his arsenal. This is not simply about looking impressive on camera. It is about proving that he is putting in the hard work needed before facing Tim Tszyu.
Do you think you've said you don't think he beats Errol Spence.
Yeah, I think Spence beat him. At this point in both of their career, I think Spence beat him. I'm not the judge, you know, I'm not the one to say, you know, what he can and what he can't do. Me and my boy Tszyu had a little wager on if him and Spence fought each other, who will win. And I had to back Spence because that's what I believe in. But, you know, I'm not the one fighting, so at the end of the day, I'm not the one that controls who win or lose.
What could you tell Tim, or what could you tell him about a Spence fight if he was a future opponent?
I can't tell him nothing. I just tell him good luck, train hard, and go in there and fight.
So would you say taking the Errol Spence fight, it wouldn't be the best decision for his future? Because that would arguably mean...
I think that's a good fight for both of them in right now in their careers. You know, I think that's a great fight for both of them because it's winnable for both of them.
He is not just hitting the pads or throwing combinations for the cameras. Tim Tszyu is doing crunches, skipping rope, pushing through conditioning drills, and making sure his body is fully prepared for a fight that could become extremely physical. The jump rope sessions show he is improving his rhythm, footwork, and endurance, while the core exercises reveal he is strengthening himself to absorb pressure and body attacks. That preparation is important because Errol Spence has built his reputation by making fights uncomfortable. He pushes a relentless pace, attacks the body, and forces opponents to stay strong in the later rounds. Tim's camp shows he is doing much more than building power. He is developing the stamina, movement, and toughness required to deal with the best version of Errol Spence.
Why are you confident that you win that bet with Tszyu? Why does Errol win the fight?
Well, I'm not, 100% confident, I just know, the caliber of fighter that Errol is, just like I know the caliber fighter of Tim. I think both of them have taken a lot of damage in their career so far, but I just think, Errol skill-wise, just edge. I just wish him well. I wish him well, much respect with him in his career, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what he do in his future.
Meanwhile, Tim Tszyu is also deep into training for Errol Spence, and the atmosphere around his camp feels completely different. Tim is not approaching this as just another fight. He is preparing like a fighter who understands that defeating Spence could completely change the direction of his career. His punches look crisp, the pressure is constant, and every drill appears designed to prepare him for a physically demanding battle.
Yeah, we're just going to see a different version of Errol Spence, and I feel like he's going to be better than he was in the past. And what I mean by that is, first round knockout coming soon. And Tim Tszyu is going to sleep, man. The boy ain't got nothing for him. But dude from Australia, my boy, he coming to Australia just to give him the work, you feel me? But back to what I was saying, I just feel like Errol Spence, he's going to be a great fighter. He's doing the thing I see him at camp. And
Tim is running, doing push-ups, powering through crunches, skipping rope, and pushing his conditioning to the limit because he knows this fight could quickly become a physical battle. The running helps build his endurance, while the push-ups and crunches strengthen his body for pressure, clinches, and heavy body shots. The jump rope sessions also improve his rhythm, balance, and footwork, all of which could become crucial on fight night.
About Errol Spence. Errol Spence is back.
Yeah.
Fighting Tim Tszyu, been on first fight since his fight with 2023 with Bud. How you feeling about that?
I think he's gonna do good. I wish Errol the best. I hope Errol go in there and beat Tim Tszyu up. I'm a Errol Spence fan. I was cool with Errol Spence, especially before that Bud fight a long time ago. He was a cool dude, so I'm with Errol Spence. I want Errol Spence to prosper.
And that fight is over in Australia too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think I don't think Tim Tszyu could beat Errol.
Yeah.
Like I know Errol is mentally tough. Errol is a dog when it comes to fighting. So I don't think Tim Tszyu.
Then we see Tim Tszyu unveiling what appears to be a refreshed style in training camp, and his pad work immediately stands out. This version of Tim is not relying only on pressure and power. Instead, he is sharpening his rhythm, improving his reactions, tightening his defense, and moving with much more control. The Floyd Mayweather-style pad work suggests his team is working to add better timing, quicker hands, smoother shoulder movement, and stronger defensive habits before the Errol Spence fight. That could make a huge difference because Spence is not the type of opponent you beat simply by walking forward. Tim must be smarter, defend more effectively, move his head consistently, choose the right moments to attack, and force Spence to reset instead of allowing him to build momentum. That is why this training footage feels so important. Tim Tszyu is not just training harder. He looks determined to upgrade every part of his style before stepping into one of the biggest fights of his career.
But the biggest thing I gotta say that I love about Errol Spence is that Errol don't want no easy fights. Errol don't want to fight guys that are no fighters. Errol want to fight
AKA
somebody.
No tune-up.
No,
he don't want no
tune-up. He
tune-up.
wants challenges. You understand me? He wants challenges. And for him to challenge a person like Tim Tszyu, when Tim Tszyu has been regularly fighting for the last 3 years, he's been not doing much. That says a lot about Errol, but that tells you exactly how much fight is still left in Errol. Errol is a guy who's always coming to the party to dance. He don't have time to play no games, and you gotta love it.
Tim Tszyu is now sending a retirement warning to Errol Spence Jr., and his message could not be more direct. If Spence is no longer the fighter he once was, Tim wants to be the man who proves it inside the ring.
Tszyu, he's been having some little tune-up fights. He's trying to work with new trainers and, enhance his overall ability in the ring as a boxer. So it's going to be interesting, but, we know he's vulnerable. He's been dropped a lot. He's been hit, and he's been, stopped. So both of them, have some battle scars, let's say, So for that reason, I think Tim Tszyu has the advantage of activity, and then Spence has the advantage of pedigree, right? He's been at another level. He's achieved more, even though it's at 147. I just feel like he's really done more, been in the ring with more world-class fighters, and had some victories against solid world-class fighters, where Tim Tszyu has not been as victorious when the opposition really hits that A class.
Make sure to check out our other videos appearing on your screen.